I can't let you go, David, without talking, about the cross-section, the crossover between sports and politics. Very specifically,
do we dare?
About Donald Trump's appearance at sporting events. Your last one, the piece, I think, for Deadspin famously was him being booed at the World Series.
Yeah.
And, it is okay to boo a president and chant lock him up when he shows his face at a baseball game.
Especially when he's never shown his face in front of people that could conceivably have booed him in the past. And like everything that he does is like a fucking convention center in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and you have to take like a loyalty oath to get in.
So what I loved about that is like him showing up at the Nationals in DC and being booed by a stadium full of people. Is that like, immediately like his defenders could immediately say, this is DC. These are swamp style sports fans.
It was 100. Benny tweeted that it was 100% lobbyists and bureaucrats in the crowd.
Which, I guess you could maybe make that stretch if it's a Nationals game. Just the other day, he showed up at the UFC fight in Madison Square Garden and was booed again by a stadium full of people, which I love because UFC is, I think, maybe second to NASCAR in terms of like the shithead sport of America. So it's a little harder to make the argument that it is only the swamp style elites booing you.
100% bureaucrats.
Yeah, the UFC should be like, that is a pretty bad sign for him because the UFC is his exact base. It's UFC tickets to the UFC are very expensive, like for good seats, and like actually going there, arduous. It's his exact base. It's like people who make a really good living, who affect a sort of blue collar like bullshit affect. And if he like can't get a good pop there, that's super not good for him.
He announced today, like I think this is going to be an interesting trend. Yeah. His like ongoing search for a sporting event where he won't get told to like eat dicks until he dies.
Okay, so they just announced after the UFC, right on the heels of the National World Series and then UFC, again, Madison Square Garden, it's the heart of Manhattan. Again, swamp style human beings. This is deep state people. He just announced that he will be attending a LSU Alabama football game. And if he can't get a pop in that audience, then honestly, I'm betting heavily against him in 2020.
It's hard to know where else you go after that. Like if those student sections can come through on this, like I think like, I don't know where like you could possibly, you'd have to go like door to door at the what's that fucking giant retirement community in Orlando? The Villages. Yeah, like you could go to like a pickleball tournament in the Villages, and they'd be like, "Oh, we love you, sir. Thanks for like standing up for our cops."
The only like major event he could go to is like, I guess like one of those places in India where there's just like all those BJP people who like worship Donald Trump playing cricket against each other. That's like the only like mass event he could go to because, maybe college football because those are people who just like go to different, like their night out at age 60 is to like go to different neighborhoods and call the cops on like suspicious people, like trying it out in new locales. But
I had like a list in my head of like venues that he could go to and either get owned at or like possibly not. Like I think like a Phoenix Coyotes NHL game. I think he'd probably do okay there.
Yeah.
But like, you never can tell. Like I think he's doing a pretty bad job. It's like most people think this. He's just somehow has managed to keep himself insulated from that experience